Hey guys, we're back this week with a few literacy lessons. This week we're going to focus on a new standard we didn't get to cover this year, but it's not too difficult. We're going to be comparing and contrasting the characters in a story and their adventures. Now we've talked about the words compare and contrast before with some of our stories. If you'll remember, compare means the same and contrast means different. This week, the new piece is talking about characters and their adventures. How are they the same, comparing them, and how are they different, contrasting them. I'm going to model what that looks like today with a book called Toot and Puddle by Holly Hobby. This is one of my favorite books. Toot and Puddle. Already I see our characters are both pigs. Toot and Puddle lived together in Woodcock Pocket. It was such a perfect place to be that Puddle never wanted to go anywhere. Toot, on the other hand, loved to take trips. He had been to Cape Cod, the Grand Canyon, and the Redwood Forest. So here's something that's different about our characters. Puddle never wanted to be anywhere else but home, whereas Toot loved to go on trips. One day in January, Toot decided to set off on his biggest trip ever. He decided to see the world. "Do you want to come along?" he asked Puddle. "We could start with someplace warm and wild." Puddle preferred to stay home. "I love snow," he thought. So here we have another difference. Toot wants to go somewhere warm, where Puddle wants to stay where it's cold and snowy. "Dear Puddle, I've made some new friends in Africa. Is winter getting boring?" Toot. Meanwhile, presenting Puddle at Pocket Pond. So Toot is having an adventure swimming with hippos, while Puddle is going ice skating. That's different. "Dear Puddle, Egypt is awesome. The pyramids are the greatest. Wish you could meet me at the oasis. Your friend, Toot." March meant maple syrup. Puddle wished Toot were there to taste the pancakes. So while one is in Egypt riding camels, the other is making maple syrup. That's different, but they both wish they could be together. "Dear Puddle, can you believe I'm in the Solomon Islands? They're in the Pacific Ocean. I spend all day underwater. I love being in a school of fish. Has spring come yet? Your pal, Toot." Yes, spring had arrived. Puddle was having mud season. Yay! So here we have Toot swimming in the ocean with a school of fish, while Puddle is swimming in a bathtub of mud. That's something different. They're both swimming, but in different places. "Hi, Puds. Am I in India or is this a dream? It's your birthday, May 3rd. Hope your party is the best. Friends forever, Toot." Back at Woodcock Pocket, "For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow that nobody can deny." So they're having a party back home while Toot is traveling in India. "Dear Puddle, help! Mountain climbing is scarier than jumping out of a plane. Remember when I talked you into going parachuting? Your friend in the Alps, Toot. Puddle remembered. So they both had been on an adventure together. They both jumped out of a plane to go parachuting. That's the same. Dear Puddle, you would love Matador Camp. The bull's name is Dandy-O. Bravo from Spain, Toot. In July, presenting Puddle at Pocket Pond. Every time he jumped in, he cheered, Olé! Dear Puddle, August is cold in Antarctica, but I've made more friends here than anywhere yet. Are you going to the beach this year? I miss you. Do you miss me? Friends forever, Toot. Yes, Puddle missed his friend. So I see Toot is in the cold Antarctic while Puddle is at a warm beach. Is that the same or different? That's different, but the same on this page is that they both miss each other. Dear Pudsey, bonjour from Paris. Art is everywhere. Love is in the air. Toot. I love art, thought Puddle. So while we have Toot in Paris and Puddle back home, they both are enjoying art together. Dearest Pudsey-O, Italy is heaven. It's one big treat. Your friend, Tootsie-O. Meanwhile, it was Halloween in Woodcock Pocket. Puddle decided to be horrifying. One morning in November, Toot woke up and thought, it's time to go home. Yay! Toot's coming! December called for celebration. Here's to all your adventures around the world, said Puddle. Here's to all your adventures right at home, said Toot. And here's to being together again, Toot and Puddle said at the same time. So even though one traveled the world and Puddle stayed at home, they both had several adventures. Toot was happy to be back in his own bed, and Puddle was happy too. So they're both happy to be back together again. I wonder if it will snow all night, Puddle said. I hope so, said Toot. Then we'll go sliding, said Puddle. And skiing, said Toot. Good night, Toot. Good night, Puddle. The end. So that's what it looks like this week when we compare and contrast the characters in a story and their adventures. Keep working hard, guys.